Welcome back, everybody. Derek Sue, your 2022 Oakland mayoral candidate. Well, today, for my diary, I wanted to talk about the street violence out here, and when I first came out here, I was pretty naive about a lot of the violence and what was going on the street. Of course, you read about stuff and you hear about stuff, but you don't actually take it as into the first person. Well, when I first came out here, within a few months of me literally living just down the street behind the hedge, I was attacked, and the perpetrators used a baseball bat on me, and the baseball bat, if you see right there, that's where it caught me. That's where it caught me. Because out of nowhere, I saw something in the shadows. It was not 9 o'clock at night, so it was very dark, but I saw somebody step out. I saw something coming at me, and I leaned back, and it hit me with a glancing blow rather than a more of a deadly blow, which would have caved in my skull. But I dropped to the ground. I was bleeding profusely. There were three of them. At the time, I had my dog, Pandora, a Pitbull, and she went right after him. And then when one of them kicked her, she screamed. About 15 seconds had elapsed. They were trying to go through my pockets, which I didn't have anything on me. I was walking my dog, and so I jumped up. I mean, it shocked the crap out of them, and I ended up, because now my adrenaline is pumping, even though I can't see out of my left eye, because the amount of blood, I've regained enough of my thoughts where I could now protect myself, which is what I did. And I seriously put these individuals, the three of them, into the hospital. That was way back in 2014, July of 2014. So very long time ago. And I ended up, police wanted to take me to the hospital that night. I refused to go because my dog, I couldn't secure her or have anybody watch her yet. So then I told them that I would go the next morning, that I would control the bleeding and everything. So anyway, when I get to the hospital, the doctors are looking at that. They said, what happened? I told them what happened, and so they understood that it was an assault, and that police report had already been done, and that I'm just actually there to do the last, which is getting the stitches. And so he's looking at that, because you could literally just move the skin back, and you literally saw my skull, portion of the bone. So that's how hard and severely I was hit with that baseball bat. But fortunately, like I said, it ended up being more of a glancing blow, and so I was able to remain conscious, and I actually wasn't killed, which is probably what their intent was, the way that they swung. So at that time, doctors say, well, we're going to numb you up and put 4 stitches. And I actually told him, I said, well, why? I don't need the numbing up. Just put the 4 stitches in and let me go on about my way. And then he's saying, well, you sure about that, because it's going to hurt? I said, well, look, all the nerve endings are damaged. I have no feeling up there, on everything that they were going to use to put the 4 stitches. And then he also asked, well, how do you know it's 4 stitches? How can you, see that? I said, I know what 4 stitches feels like. And so it was interesting, and it actually scared the doctor and the attending nurse at the time, because I'm refusing for them to numb me up, and I just said, just put the 4 stitches in there, let me get about my day and get out of here. And this was at Highland Hospital. So anyway, doctor's actually shaking. His hands were shaking when he applied the first stitch, the first penetration with the needle, and it was really interesting. I told him, he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm just fine. Just keep going. I'm fine, not feeling anything." And then he's noticing I'm not flinching. And he said, "You really don't feel anything." And I said, "No, I told you all the nerve endings are dead up there for right now. So there's no feeling whatsoever. Just go ahead and put the 4 stitches in there and let me get on my way." So that's what he did. He actually felt a whole lot better after he saw that I really didn't have any feeling. And then also what I had told him, I said, "Well, I'm a mixed martial arts person, and I can actually control pain." And so I said, what a little pain that may be there, I can block it out with my mind. And so that's what I did. I actually didn't have to block out too much. Like I said, the nerve endings on the wound was so severe that it was going to take some time for it to come back. But they put the 4 stitches in, and it was fun and amazing looking at their faces, because they're all in shock. Some of them weren't sure what to think, and once the stitches were in, the doctor said, "Well, that's probably a first and a last for me. I'll never see that again." And it was fun blowing their minds with that. But they saw something different, and I'm sure in their line of work they're going to see a lot more. So what I did was probably more entertaining than shocking. But anyway, that's where that came from. And because of that one event, it made me a lot more determined to make sure that any encounter where there was a fight, that those parties weren't going to want to come back for a second helping of me. And I've always maintained that, even throughout my career. When I worked with the government, nobody ever came back for a second helping of me, because number 1, martial arts, number 2, I'm an excellent shot, and I was always armed. So just saying, there's a tremendous amount of street violence, and then some characters out here are extremely violent themselves, where they'll beat up 6 cops. I had one person here in the camp. He literally tore apart 6 police officers, in the early years of this camp. So I witnessed that, and it's like, yeah, that's a really bad dude. And then I've had murderers through here who've made threats. I've had gang members here who's made threats. I've had people armed taking shots at me, one with a shotgun and another one with a handgun. I returned fire every time. 2 times I've had people come in my tent in the middle of the night, unzip the door, and come in with a knife, and then they're quickly dispatched. There's a lot of violence out here, and the neighborhood knows that I am not a victim, and so I'm reasonably safe. Even the really tough, or what they perceive themselves to be as a tough guy, for the most part, stay out of my way. They don't challenge me, which is a good thing, because I don't want to have to do what I need to do also. But anyway, that's why I am so hard on street violence. I try and take a lot of the different routes that I use, which is searching individuals for warrants, outstanding warrants. There's plenty of websites where you can find people with outstanding warrants in the area. Or, the other thing that I do, I can run a quick background check on individuals. And so I don't even have to have their name. All I need is their street name and a first name, if possible, and a birthday or a birth year. Those are all only clues that I need to find pretty much anybody that I need, and that's anywhere in the world. So I've been able to remove a lot of the criminal element just because I'm able to do that and notify the agency that may be looking for them, and then after that, we just arrange the best time for them to come pick that individual up, when they're around, and so I serve as the in-camp intel, and so we have a lot of times very quiet arrests and searches, and it's a much better way to handle everything because we're utilizing element of surprise, and nobody expects what we do in the middle of the night like what we do, and that's how we have to do things, and we avoid a lot of violence, a lot of shootings. We've had some very violent people at times in this camp that were armed and weren't afraid to shoot, because there were many evenings where they're blasting off rounds and I have to go talk to them, and so it can be interesting and very challenging at times, and it's no fun. And when you're a victim and you're hurt, a lot of your thoughts are towards revenge and what you would do if you ever had the opportunity. Out here as a homeless individual, that opportunity unfortunately is very real, and sometimes you have to use everything at your disposal to rectify the situation or to keep yourself alive. So that's it for today. See you next time.